You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Fashion 411, featuring the week's roundup of fashion news. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Fashion 411.
Fashion 411. Woo!
Where's the music?
You know, like, music. All right. Yes. How we put it down on a Friday.
Oh, wow.
Is it too loud for you?
It's Friday, y'all. Beep, beep, toot, toot.
I know. I feel like I need
Okay, so if you are tuning in right now, it is Friday, and everybody, you know what that means. It's time for a little Fashion 411 on Black Hollywood Live. Woo! Yay! Yay! It's the last Friday of the month.
Oh my God.
And we actually have a full house. Everybody's
Yes.
here. We have a guest. I want to remind you guys really quickly to make sure you download our show on iTunes. Because of you, we are the #1 fashion podcast on iTunes. So please keep that coming. Rate us, make comments. You can also check us out on YouTube if you want to see what our pretty faces look like in the studio. But let's just go around the room and let's introduce everyone.
Yes.
I'll go across the table.
Well, hey guys, I am back. So excited to be back after being gone for a few weeks.
know.
And I'm your host, Erika Garcia-Rojas. I am your go-to girl for all things business and fashion. I am the co-owner and founder of Raleigh Babe Apparel.
What's up, everybody? I can't talk today. Oh my God, it's because I just used my inhaler. Sorry, guys. What's up, everybody? I'm Courtney Stewart, and I am your everything girl. I'm the shopaholic, shoeaholic on the show, always giving you guys the consumer perspective.
And I love your lipstick today.
Thank you. I mixed it. It's
Great
a mix this
lipstick
week.
today.
Thank you.
And I am Diona Vaughan. I'm your former New York City fashion person. Now I am here in LA, and I'd like to think that I can bring you the runway to the real way. And we have a special guest in the studio today, and I'm so excited that he's here. Oh, yes. We love it when men come and sit with us. It's a different vibe, right?
Totally
Yeah,
different.
ladies?
Yeah.
So we have Jeffrey Relf here with us, and this man is just, he's like opening up a fashion encyclopedia. Like the knowledge this man has on all fronts about styling, about public relations, about buying. Just, you've been there, you've done it, and we are so happy to have you here.
I am so happy to be here.
Yes.
I'm so
Welcome.
excited, and I am too as excited as you guys are to be around you beautiful women today.
Thank you.
Yes, Erica's all glowing from her Peru
I
trip.
know. For me, that's
I'm
America.
jealous. I know,
Right?
right? Exactly. So thank you. Yeah, thank you
know.
very much for having me.
Yeah, and we brought Jeffrey here today because, as everyone knows, April has been Earth Month, and then we had Earth Day the other day. So we just wanted to, end April with a bang, and we wanted to, really talk about green fashion, green designers, and really keep you guys informed of what's out there and how you can kind of contribute to the universe and all that kind of good stuff as it relates to fashion. So first up, I've got a couple sustainable fashion trends, things that you can wear right now, and these are from sustainable designers. So if you guys are following along, and keep in mind you can check us out on Instagram, BHL Fashion 411. The first outfit, it's from a designer called Tabii Just. And it's the designer, she's New York based, and her name is Tabitha St. Bernard, and she practices a zero waste design policy. So nothing, nothing is everything is used, basically. Zero waste. Nothing is wasted. And she has a sustainable line of women's wear clothing. It's made in Brooklyn, New York. And let's see here. It says, after Tabitha makes her apparel, minimalist pieces consisting of clean lines and cuts, plus bold colors and prints, described as having a Trinidadian vibe. And the designer, Tabitha St. Bernard, she's actually, she's an African-American woman, just in case you wanted to know. But this dress right here, it's called the Aisha Zero Wasted Dress. It's for $300. I am going to say something really quickly. I've noticed just researching a lot of these different green designers, green brands, and maybe you can, debunk this. I noticed things are really expensive.
Yeah, they
Cost. It was just, I'm like $300. You know what I mean? Things are really, really costly, and I guess, is that the cost we have to pay? To, wear, fashion that's green and doing something for society. But that's the one thing that I really, really took notice of. I'm like, this is really expensive stuff, but whatever. The next picture, it's by a company, it's called Amour Vert. And what's really cool about this company, they say that every day is Earth Day, and it's an eco-friendly fashion company. They're based out of San Francisco. With every t-shirt that you buy from them, they plant a tree. And they do this day in, day out, year round, not just, during the month of April, but you buy a t-shirt, they plant a tree. They use fabrics like organic cotton, recycled polyester, silk, and linen. And this t-shirt that's featured here, it's a $78 V-neck t-shirt. Again, on the pricey side, but, I'm glad that it's there.
Trees aren't cheap.
Exactly. Trees aren't cheap. They're just everywhere, right? And then the picture below, it's this really cute organic kind of asymmetric top, and it's called the Organic Napkin Pullover Top for $215, and it's from a brand called Ethica.com. It was founded by a sister team, Melissa and Carolina Cantor, and they were purveyors of beautiful, ethical fashion, and you can find them online. And let's see here. Who do I have next? Next picture. Okay, this cute little clutch bag is from Clare Vivier. And I've actually heard of Clare Vivier and shopped from her before, and I didn't realize she was such a big green, sustainable person. But she's got really, really great stuff. Amazing. Leathers, nylons, a lot of really fun, cool prints. And a lot of her prints, I don't want to call them knockoffs, but a lot of her prints remind me of other, big name handbag lines, kind of like what's the line? Anyway,
inspired by.
Great minds think alike.
Yes. And what's pictured is a printed leather flat clutch for $105. Now, isn't that interesting? This leather clutch for $105 is cheaper than the t-shirt. Anyway, all of her bags are produced locally in LA, and she uses sustainable, materials for everything that she makes. Next picture in the middle, this is a cuff bracelet from Natalie Frigo, and she is an ethical New York City-based jewelry designer, and her gemstones and all of her products, they're ethically sourced, and so that means that they're conflict-free, and they come from mines that ensure safe working conditions, living wages, and environmentally friendly practices. Her metals are all recycled and reclaimed, like these are the things that she uses, and this bracelet is $375. Cute though, I like it.
I'm not mad.
And then finally, the last picture. Who would have thought that you could get eco-friendly sunglasses? But there's a line called Warby Parker, and let's see here. This brand has shot to fame in the past couple years with its stylish frames, positive impact, and low price point. So they're the only eyewear company to be carbon neutral, and each pair of glasses you buy goes to someone in need. So, which super cool, kind of like a Tom's type deal. Every shoe that is purchased, someone else gets a pair of shoes. But who would have thought with sunglasses? I was actually surprised to see that. So that was really nice. These sunglasses are $95, which I think that's reasonable. Yeah, especially when you're giving back. So those are a couple sustainable fashion trends, things that you can wear now, run out and buy. If you want to kind of contribute to the greenness of the world.
So I want to know from you, Jeffrey, what is your take on this whole trend?
Well, I was going to chime in when Diona mentioned how things that are green and eco-friendly are expensive or a bit pricier. And that's simply because everything is locally made, locally sourced. The environments and the conditions are a lot different than what we know maybe in, places like China or Bangladesh, And so with that said, you pay for that type of consciousness and creating that because you know that you're creating something that's wonderfully made, and of course, the environment that it's made in is a great environment. People are being paid, you're creating jobs for people. So I feel like the pricing is very good, but what's really interesting is that I'm from Chicago, and I knew nothing about the eco-friendly community until I moved to Los Angeles. Exactly, and so, but it's been a really interesting lesson, and the designers that I've met and come across are absolutely phenomenal, you know, and it just really is a consciousness. I mean, I feel like, you know, I hate that it's become so trendy. I mean, and I hate that word, you know, but I mean, but at the same time, I mean, if trend is what makes people conscious of it, and hopefully they buy into it, not just because of the trend factor, just because of, you know, our environmental factors, and that it's actually saving lives within its sustainable factor, then I think it's fantastic.
And I think it's important just for consumers to be educated so they can understand why you're paying so much more. Just
Absolutely.
like you said, you know, that you're, you know, people are getting fair wages and, you know, things are being sourced locally. I think as long as a consumer, like, you have to teach people that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like healthy eating, you know what I mean? Just people don't want to buy organic or, you know, eat healthier because it's cheaper and, you know, easier, convenient to go to McDonald's, you know? So
I have to play a little bit of the devil's advocate. Not that I don't think that sustainable fashion is a great thing. I think it's wonderful. Do I think it's going to be really part of the mainstream, and is it more than just a trend? Like, I think it's a trend to stay, but I don't necessarily see it growing to the point where the majority of our items or most of our items are going to be sustainable. I think it's still, like you said, Diona, more about like the consumer buying into that. And, you know, for me as a manufacturer, as a clothing line owner, we did try to go that route. It was really difficult. I mean, it was tough. I mean, the price points are higher, and when you're competing against Nike and Reebok, because we do license apparel for women for NCAA or NBA and things like that, and when you're competing against that, it's great to say it and all that, but at the end of the day, like, our other things sold way more because of the price point. It looked pretty much the same. It felt the same. It was just less expensive because of the whole, you know, sustainable thing. And we sold a lot more, so we don't do it anymore. We don't do we had an organic line, actually. We don't do it anymore. Yeah.
Well, I would like to think that, I mean, obviously, because it's still in the early stages, I think that it's interesting that the trend, so to speak, has grown in this time period, just because we are in a very significant time period, in my opinion, in terms of how we view economies and how our economy is changing, and socially how that's affecting everybody, and people's views of what is possible and what money really means and what it will become, I think, is shifting. So whereas right now we're still in that place where obviously big business like Nike and all of them can produce in Bangladesh and give us whatever and do whatever, and everybody accepts that. I do think that our generations coming up are getting more information about what's going on, and the idea that money and what we do to the environment is slowly becoming more important. And similar to the idea that now I think Walmart just said that they are going to start carrying organic meats that are a little bit more accessible to, and I mean, I'm sure on some level they've cut a corner somewhere because they have to whatever, but that's still a large movement. Like, if Walmart starts to carry organic food and organic meat, like that's a movement in a direction that one day, hopefully, maybe in 5 to 10 years, fashion will also be able to make those larger steps.
Well, it's almost like too. Well, I love that you said that, because I was going to go in that direction, and back to what Erika was saying. You know, it's like H&M just did a line of conscious eco clothing as well. You know, which of course,
conscious collection.
Yes, a conscious collection, which brings it to the masses, which we love that a lot. But I say this, you know, when you talk about the big boys like the Nikes and the Reeboks or the Coca-Colas, like, you know, Pharrell is creating the new eco-friendly line with Adidas, and then, you know, will.i.am and Coca-Cola. And I say, like, if they use the power of those celebrities to capitalize on it, but also at the same time bring it to the forefront to educate, you know, those consumers of what it really is, that means that they'll pay attention to it, and I feel like in other ways, and hopefully kind of make their own keen choices and decisions. We're like, oh, this is why this is like this, you know, outside of just those particular brands, but looking for other brands because of the same reason too.
I think a lot of it for large companies especially is a marketing thing, because H&M's conscious collection, I've actually talked to different people there about it, and they said it's there because it looks good for the line, but it actually really doesn't sell well. And same thing with, like, you know, the collaboration you were just talking about. It's great, and I think it's wonderful to bring everything into the consciousness. But I think at the end of the day, with businesses, it's all about dollars and cents, and it looks good to have an eco-friendly department or division or some kind of campaign to represent it. Is it, you know, is that what the direction this particular company is going to go in full force? No, but, you know, there's good and bad to all of it. So I think it's good that it's being bringing consciousness
Yes.
to everything. So.
It's up to everyone else to kind of
Yes.
catch up. I think.
Yes.
So, or just have the social responsibility. All right. So what's going on in Style Scoop?
All
What's
right.
the
I'm up.
headlines?
Okay. So we've got our weekly Style Scoop for you. And first up is People Magazine's 50th Most Beautiful People issue was out this week, and they named Oscar award-winning media darling Lupita Nyongo for the most beautiful for the cover.
Also known as Courtney's friend in her head. 'Cause she loves her.
We touched, but she couldn't talk to me because they dragged her into the award ceremony. But we were right there. We were right there.
Lupita.
I didn't realize she was 31.
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't
she's
realize
young.
she's that. Yeah.
Yes.
She looks a lot
Beautiful
younger,
cover.
but she was, the most beautiful star. Other celebrities bestowed the most beautiful title this year in the magazine include Mindy Kaling, 41-year-old Gabrielle Union. I didn't know she was 41.
She's 41.
Yeah, Carrie Russell, 37-year-old Kerry Washington, and 40-year-old Molly Sims, the singer Pink, and Stacy Keibler.
Yeah, it's a cool magazine this
Those
time
are good
around. That layout is
ones.
good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because they
Very
had like
nice.
35 and naked or something, and like
really?
Pink and all
Oh,
these
yeah, I
like
saw
women
that.
just naked and 35. I was like, get it.
I need to
One day
look at it.
till.
That's actually really, I'll be honest, the only People magazine issue that I ever read is this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
special
this
issue.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and just encourage people to actually buy the magazine, because being that a chocolate lady is on the cover, that is an excuse for them to be like, well, see, it didn't sell, and yeah.
Agreed. That's a good
So
point.
buy the magazine. It's like
Lupi-
$3.
It's Lupita. I think it'll sell. Right?
It's $3. Go buy the magazine.
Right.
All right, so up next we've got speaking of magazine covers, the American Society of Magazine Editors has revealed its nominees for its 8th annual Best Cover Contest, and include the polka dot George Clooney W cover. And for those of you listening to us on iTunes, make sure that you go to Instagram and follow us on BHL Fashion 411, or you can go to YouTube and check us out there, and you can see the picture of the W cover with George Clooney. Also, the other nominated cover was Vanity Fair's Centennial issue with Kate Upton, who is in full Marilyn Monroe getup, and the other nominee was that Oprah Winfrey big hair issue that we talked about a few months back.
Yeah.
And the winner is going to be announced next week. So stay
Clooney
tuned.
looks real good on that cover.
Amazing.
Yes,
Diona.
those all were great covers.
Liking the older men.
Oh,
huh?
he's just
ageless.
timeless.
Yeah.
Yes, he's just ageless.
Did you
He's-
say Peter Gabriel?
No.
I was like, no. Well, he was giving me like a little throwback Peter Gabriel from the end of that cover. But when I was like, did you?
That was subliminal messaging. But you are right. You are
Right.
so
He
right.
does look very timeless. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Kate
Man.
I love the Kate Upton.
The Kate
one,
Upton
too.
was beautiful,
It's
too.
gorgeous. All right, so Vogue.com is getting a makeover. The popular magazine title is looking to expand its website and is building up its staff with new hires and current employees who will move from print to the web. They just recently hired about half a dozen people specifically for the online magazine, and it's rumored that Anna Wintour is looking to build a team of 20, according to Women's World Daily. So I have a question about this. Do you guys spend time on the websites for popular magazines like Vogue or Elle or Allure?
I find myself more on blogs than I do the magazine websites. And it's funny that, I mean, it was inevitable that this was going to happen because magazine sales, newsstand sales have been down for a long time. So it's only, this makes sense. But no, I don't find myself.
Ever.
No.
Well, I have to say, being in the fashion industry, that style.com, which is Vogue,
That's true.
of
True,
course,
true.
Love that.
is definitely the new Bible. I mean, you go to it for references. It houses every collection. I must say that when I'm viewing the collections from Milan and Paris and London, Elle.com, amazing. They're phenomenal. Like, their videos from the recap of the collections go up almost instantly. And their content and their coverage is really fantastic. So Elle definitely, and this is one of the ones that we read a lot too, which is style.com. Of course, this is Vogue.com. And I must say, we don't go to Vogue.com as much, but style.com is still the Vogue website.
Do you
yes.
find that, like, the online information has replaced magazines?
Absolutely. I mean, right now, particularly because, our company is a PR company, Our outreach for digital placements is as important and as structured as our print outreach because it's valuable and it's immediate gratification. Because where the print outreach is, if something is going to run in a magazine, takes about 4 months to run and it's shot 4 months in advance, the digital content can go up within like, I would say 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, so and clients love that.
Is there any like noticeable demographic change between the online viewers versus the magazine viewers that you're aware of?
I would definitely say that particularly because most of our interns in our office are in their 20s, and you tell them to use this as a reference. And so I do feel like because the younger generation or the generations in their 20s is always online, then I think it's natural that those who are interested in fashion are going to read these kind of traditional top-tier publications online opposed to print. But there's nothing like a magazine.
I know. Just like, I can't give up my magazine.
I love magazines.
Yeah,
That always makes me think of Sex and the City, and it's the episode where Carrie's like, I've got this strange behavior. I don't know, it's weird, but I like to stand in the kitchen with a stack of saltines and jelly, and I look at my magazines. Like I always think about that, you know, with magazines. But yeah, nothing replaces a magazine.
No, I love the magazine. All right, so well, speaking of bloggers and online, New York Magazine writer Robin Givhan wrote an interesting piece this week declaring the golden age of fashion blogging over. Her hypothesis is that the up-to-the-minute insider views offered by bloggers are now being dispensed by true industry insiders, such as editor-in-chiefs of magazines and creative directors. She says, quote, "The same intimate tone, once unique to bloggers, can now be found in the Twitter feeds of print folks such as Eva Chen, Derek Blasberg, and Mickey Boardman. They live blog while at the shows, while zipping through airports, while touring art exhibitions, and while vacationing. The distance between the establishment and fashion, once dazzling revolutionaries, has narrowed, and there is minimal distinction between them." Editor of the popular Fashion Bomb daily blog retaliated against this hypothesis, saying that the fashion industry is not just about seats at fashion shows. She says, quote, "It's not all about positioning, backstage designer interviews, and huge conglomerates. It's about commerce and translating trends, which can all be viewed online to the masses. Bloggers interface with their audience in ways a traditional editor cannot, because bloggers are largely unfiltered and unedited. They're more reliable. The friends in your head who give you the scoop. Perhaps the golden era of fashion bloggers storming the shows and front rows is on the wane, but the power and influence of these digital innovators is far from over."
I agree.
Agree 1,000%.
Big
Absolutely.
time, you know?
I was thinking that exact same thing as you was reading. You know, I think what happens is that the bloggers have become much more glamorized than the editors, you know, and so I think that they want that back. And so, you know, just like anything else, you know, when industry obviously denounces something, ultimately at some point it will be denounced. Yes, exactly. But I mean, as I just mentioned before, the bloggers' approach to fashion is completely different. They're not competing with fashion editors, but secretly editors look at them to see what it is that they're writing about, because we can come across new cool brands on blogs, and we can't come across them in magazines because those brands that they run in those editorials have to be brands that's advertising with them. I mean, pretty much 70% of the content is advertiser content, and then the other 30% is a very limited amount of things that they can kind of, you know.
And I think that's why blogs became so popular to begin with, because they're unearthing these new brands and exciting brands and smaller brands and items and things that are not necessarily present in these big corporate magazines. So it's like a difference between corporate and, you know, the little guy.
The voice is completely
the voice
different.
of the people, and so it's totally different.
Yeah, and it's so much more relatable for the average everyday person. You know what I mean? Because they're covering street style, and they're covering style from where they live, whether it's LA or Atlanta or, you know, Miami. So it just, it's for the people. I don't see that dying.
They are the people. Like, they're the ones buying it and doing the same thing. So the relatability factor will never be destroyed by
Absolutely.
anything
Well, and not
that's
to mention the fact that the apparel companies are actually creating budgets and have been creating budgets for the last few years too, to spend their marketing dollars on bloggers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when that happens and you're talking about commerce, like bloggers have really become valuable. Yeah, businesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be
sure.
interesting to watch that tension continue to grow because their argument reading about the editors, that first part, I'm like, yeah, kind of, that makes sense. And as they continue to build their side of it, to the tension between them and the bloggers and how that's all going to work itself out will be really
I think that's what it'll happen. I think what'll happen is that those editors themselves will become bloggers. So they'll take on that persona in their own, maybe not in their own time, but almost like, here's my personal blog. This is what I wear.
That
And
they'll
kind
hire
of-
some intern to
Yeah.
do
Let's
this. Let's be real.
themselves
Yes.
as that
Yeah.
not celebrity, but like that blogger type person.
Yeah.
So
It's a personality.
I see that fine line, kind of that line, pretty fine there. So
Well, I think the other thing too is that I just think that magazines have to think about their top tier publications. Let's say that, because there are a lot of great, fresh kind of alternative publications, fashion publications. But when we're talking about the Vogues and Elle's and Bazaars of the world, I do think that they have to rethink their approach to reporting fashion, and I do feel like they have to start to look a bit more emerging. And when they say they introduce new brands, I mean they do, like the CFDA award. It's all about finding new designers, new brands, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
And people are thirsty for new brands and new designers and what's kind of cool. Unfortunately, a lot of young people aren't that enthralled with Prada. I love Prada. I'm just saying that they were like, okay, and it's completely out of the reach. So it's almost like, I don't know if that reflects everybody's lifestyle.
Yeah. All right, so last but not least, popular British high street brand Primark is coming to the States. The retailer announced plans to open its first U.S. flagship in Boston's downtown Crossing district in the Burnham building. It will open doors in late 2015 with plans to expand its reach to more locations in the Northeast through mid-2016. It is a little surprising that they chose to open up their first shop in Boston. New York City tends to be the it landing for European brands looking to emerge to the States. There are just more people, tourists, and it happens to be an official capital of the world in New York, but they decided on Boston.
Interesting.
According to Women's World Daily. Have any of you ever heard of Primark?
Yeah.
I wasn't too familiar with them.
I think it's owned by Marks and Spencer. I think. I'm not sure, but like that's a really big, like Marks and Spencer is like Macy's is here over there.
Got
It's a big company.
I actually just became aware of Primark maybe like, I don't know, a year and a half ago.
Yeah. I don't know the backstory,
Yes.
but yeah.
Well, if you want to go check them out, they're in Boston.
Yes.
Into Boston.
All right, so I think it's time to get to know our guest, Mr. Relf.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us all about yourself.
Oh
you?
my
Where you
God.
come from?
Where do you start?
On the spot.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you so much for having me here today.
Of course.
I'm so excited being here. I became aware of your program. I watched it. So I saw you guys before I even came here.
He did his homework.
And I was just like, what is this? I was like, this is great. Literally, and such an amazing platform.
For sure.
Completely the missing link. And I hope that there will be a lot more of this. So thank you, Maria.
Yes, thank you.
Love that to death. But I am a fashion publicist, and I started working in this business, I say officially, about 15 years ago. Although I was working in it before then, but it wasn't like official. And within my my whirlwind of experience, those 15 years have actually been in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Chicago native.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you from Chicago?
No, but I went to school there.
Oh, okay. I was great to say, hey, Shaitan.
I'm from Atlanta, but yeah.
Right. So I'm a Chicago native, and I went to college in New York. And after finishing college in New York, I was interning at a magazine called Sportswear International. And New York pretty much changed my life. It really brought to the forefront everything that I had been reading about fashion since I was like in 8th grade. Because believe it or not, I've been reading fashion magazines since I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
So at recess, it was me and about 6 other fashionable kids.
Yeah.
And we were all just exchanging magazines. And when interviews interview was like newspaper print when details had more of an interview format.
Oh.
People don't know about that. They don't. When Taxi fashion magazine existed, it was like, you know, it was good. And it really inspired me a lot. And then I moved to New York years and years and years later after finishing an undergraduate's degree in business in Chicago first, and then going on to Pratt. And I'm like at my first Paris Couture fashion show. I don't tell a lot of people this story. And I was sitting behind Valentino.
Wow.
And Calvin Klein was sitting behind me, and I see
behind
Andre
you.
behind me,
Wow.
and I see Andre Leon Talley.
wow.
You know, exactly, and it was just amazing. And I'd met this guy named Kermit Alexander King on campus. I know, phenomenal. Hey, Kermit, if you're out there somewhere. And he was really an amazing artist when we were in high school. And high school, college, and I went to the Paris Couture show with him, and he knew everyone. I mean, like literally, and he was pointing out everyone to me, and this is everyone I had been reading about since I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
So yeah, so it influenced me a lot, you know. But you know, I would say probably got my start in fashion by moving to New York, by interning, as we know is really important.
Yes,
But these days, these interns want to get paid.
Yes, they do.
And I'm just like, for what?
Well, wasn't the interns, they just won a lawsuit against Condé Nast?
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, you know what's really interesting, though? But it's not about you getting my coffee. See, I think that's the difference
Agreed.
between corporate internships and really kind of like small boutique firmed internships. Because when you come in, you kind of learn what we do. And you know, you work more within an associate's capacity, because I don't need people to get my Starbucks. I can get up and walk across the street and get them myself. So, but I feel like if interns think that and feel that they are learning,
Yes.
They're
then
getting
it's not-
something out of
yes,
it.
they're getting
Yeah.
something out of it,
Yeah.
right? When they leave, they're going to be more valuable.
Right.
You know, then it's fantastic. You know, because we have things that come across our desk all of the time. People looking for, you know, people to fill different positions. And if I feel like you've performed thoroughly, you know, while you were with us, then I'm going to refer you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of the name of the game.
It's all about contacts too in the fashion industry.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And as an that's how, I mean, as
Relationships.
Rally Babe got started, my sister and I launched it. My sister was an intern
Yes.
in downtown LA, you know, in a fashion line. And that's kind of how we got a lot of our contacts was through her
Absolutely.
internship. Eventually she was
Absolutely.
hired on
Yes.
and paid, but it
Exactly.
started off as an internship.
That's the point. And we bring our interns back and we hire them for freelance projects.
Yeah,
Because
it's great.
that's how it's supposed to be.
So tell us about the many different roles that you've had in this fabulous fashion industry.
In this fashion industry, well, you know, moving back to Chicago from New York, I did windows. You know, I worked in window display for luxury brands like Escada and Gucci and Bendals when Henri Bendals actually sold clothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in the 90s, so it's fantastic. And that really led to a world of possibly wanting to be a stylist. Mind you, I had just finished like a year internship at Sportswear International working as like a junior fashion editor. So that styling world opened up to me when I was in New York. And I just kind of transitioned from the print styling to doing it for windows. And so that was kind of, I feel like, my first entree into me really getting on this path of what am I going to do in the industry. I just finished recently telling Diona the story a little earlier that while I was doing windows, I applied for a job as like a wardrobe supervisor for the Buddy Holly story that was coming from Germany to Chicago. And I met the costume designer because he had to fly in to set it, and I oversaw it when he left. And I just asked him, you know, 21 questions, like 50 cents. and he answered them. And pretty soon I thought, like, you know what? This guy is like a stylist. Like, I can do what he does. I'm like, you know what, did you make all of this? And he explained, no, some was purchased, some was pulled from a costume house, some was built, meaning made. And I'm like, you know, I kind of do that. I kind of do that now, you know? And when he told me that he made tons of money doing it in Los Angeles, the next year I moved to LA.
Yeah, it's time to move.
And in 2000, I got here. Well, late 99, early 2000. It was like pretty much the end of 99. And I've been here ever since. But me coming here was about being a costume designer because I thought that that's really what I wanted to do. And I did do that. And, you know, in order to make a living while I was pursuing my career as being a costume designer and interning for free until I got paid jobs, of course. I worked as a women's account executive for a couple of women's sportswear companies, a men's sportswear company, doing the trade shows, opening accounts at retail, that type of thing. And about 3 years later, after being here for about 3 years, and I created a reel. I had the costume reel. It was happening, but I wasn't loving it. I wasn't in love. I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. And so I stepped away from it and just focused on the account executive thing. But then I started getting calls and people asking me if I could style music videos, if I could style a celebrity, if I could go shopping and pull clothes, if I could do, wardrobe for models for a music award show. And I just kept saying yes, 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 yes. And before I knew it, I would probably say about a year later, I was making as much money styling as I was being an account executive. And so I stepped away from being an account executive and just really focused on being a stylist. And so I was a stylist for about 7 years straight, and it was fantastic. About 6 years, about 6, 7 years. It was really fantastic. But, once again, as you are, I think, trailing down that path and following your gut instinct, it starts to open other things up to you, as, Rachel Zoe is a fashion designer now. And you see so many people, Adriana Lima, who obviously is a model, is obviously now doing, her own collection of clothes. And so, you find these other routes that you want to take, and PR became a bit fascinating to me because I'm a salesperson by nature. I've always sold things, selling myself, being the account executive. My very first job in fashion when I was in high school was at a men's clothing store. So I had this really great sales background, and I wanted to know, what are all these girls doing sitting in this office all day when I was going to pull clothes? Why are they on the phones, and why are they in front of their computers all day long? Like, what the hell are they doing? And I became really good friends with one of the PR company owners. And I started looking up PR, like what was it exactly, and realized that I had a lot of the skill sets. I had a lot of the skill sets, particularly working with designers from the styling standpoint. The designers, when we would do style their collections for Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week in LA, when LA did have a Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, IMG, then they would ask if we could produce their shows for them as well. And when I say we, I had like 2 interns working for me. No, I had an assistant and an intern. So can you guys actually produce our fashion shows for us? Can you oversee our guest list for us? So we started to do that. And, that definitely is one of the big things that PR companies do, is oversee the fashion shows. So when I actually did my research, I realized that I had a lot of the skill sets and just pretty much decided to open a PR company. And that's,
how long ago was that?
That was 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
my
so you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, my PR company became 7 years old January this year.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I was really excited about that. And so, what's really interesting is that my PR company took on the face of who I was as a stylist, which is working on developing emerging brands. So that's really what we do, is we develop a lot of emerging brands. We launch a lot of brands, and it's been really good for me, and I really like it a lot. And we are currently working on restructuring our business and just expanding it to doing a couple of other things I can't talk about right now. Ooh. Yeah.
So I know green is the new black. That is just your thing, and I know that you're very passionate about green designers and who's out there. So talk to us about. I think you had Annie and Jade.
Yeah, Annie and Jade is one of our lines. Well, I must say, hey Annie, if you're watching this, look. What's really interesting about green is that, once again, I didn't really know about it until I moved here. One of the designers that I work with for many years, her name is Deborah Lindquist, but I worked with her not in a PR capacity, but more in a designer image brand building capacity, styled her collections for Fashion Week. And, her story is really amazing to me. Someone who can actually make a living selling and cutting recycled cashmere.
Wow.
I mean, phenomenal.
Wow.
She was really amazing. So she opened the green world up to me, and that's when I became aware of it. Fast forward to Annie and Jade, who's one of our clients. is an amazing sustainable green eco designer, and we came across Annie about 2 years ago when we were doing fashion shows for the California Market Center. California Market Center is one of our clients, and we produced their Focus emerging designer trade show, and she was one of the designers that we worked with, and we loved her cuts. We thought she was really onto something amazing because, you know, what you miss a lot in the world of green is a much more contemporary perspective.
Yes.
You know, and so Annie, like John Patrick out of New York, and like Udon, which is Bono's line, out of New York, all have this really amazing contemporary perspective. You're starting to see it a bit more now, but when I was working with Deborah, it was very, as they would say, kind of granola.
Yeah, crunchy.
Kind of tree huggy.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
And
bohemian.
and so the stylists have really been loving her brand, and she cuts for real women because she's a real woman. You know, Annie is probably like a very curvy 8, 10. I think she's a 10. I hope, Annie. I'm not trying to make you bigger. I just think it's, you know, but gorgeous. And so she says she wants real women to be able to wear her clothes, of course. And so we've had stylists and their clients start to really love the brand, like Aisha Tyler asked for some custom pieces. Maya just finished wearing something on her KTLA interview. Aaron Westbrook from Glee chose something that was really phenomenal for her.
It's pretty stuff.
Gorgeous, right?
I've already seen 3 things I want.
That's
You're like, I'm good, right? Exactly.
amazing.
But you really hit on something, because I think that is what the perception is about green clothing, is that it's not contemporary, it's not modern, it's not cool.
And it's not luxe.
Yeah, and it's not luxury.
Yeah.
You know, you have this image in your mind that it's just, you know, it's a t-shirt made out of hemp or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you make a good point about that.
And so as you see, like on the left here, you have an image from Annie's Spring 2014 lookbook.
Oh my God, I want. I want that.
Annie, you heard that, didn't you?
Right now.
And then on the right, Maya has the same romper on, but in the
God.
turquoise color.
Oh,
Yeah, And she loved the line. We were so excited that she really loved it. Because, you know, Maya's a small girl, but she got a little junk. She got some
new
her
junk.
Her junk look good, though.
Yeah.
Her junk is tight, you know? And so she said that she really loves rompers.
dancer junk.
Yeah, that dancer junk, exactly. It's fantastic. And
Oh my
this is Aaron Westbrook
Gorgeous.
from Glee.
That's beautiful.
In Annie's sheer paneled insert dress, which is so funny because sheer panels was trending today on Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yes, did you see that?
I'm curious, and we talked about this a little bit earlier about the price. How much is that romper retail?
That romper retails, I think, for about $2.95.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
What's the material on it?
Silk
It's silk. Yes,
Okay.
it
That's
is.
beautiful,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. And this is a jersey.
That's gorgeous.
Which
So
is wonderful.
pretty.
And when I tell you, it feels featherweight like nothing.
Yes.
It feels like nothing. And so the stylist came, pulled it, and said that Aaron loved the dress. And we were like, good. Right. And, you know, when they shoot something, there's no guarantee that it's going to run.
Yeah.
So I really work on not telling the client when something's shot until we know for sure that it's going to be out. Exactly. So when it came out, we were so excited because she looked so great in it.
Yeah.
So, and we have a lot of listeners that have different type of fashion interests, and you know, you told your whole story. Now you're doing PR. Maybe give an idea of how how you find a client or how they find you, and then how you work with them. Like what kind of your processes in working with them or your services. What you do? Is it just fashion shows? Is it magazines? Is it this? It sounds like you just do so much.
Well, it's much, but it's much within the capacity of PR. You know, but you know, I actually go first on name. Like, if the name doesn't turn me on, I don't even really bother to look at the brand. Because the name is really everything.
Yeah.
You have to think about it as the first thing that the editors see, the first thing that the bloggers see, the first thing that the stylist sees. And so it has to kind of create somewhat of an emotion, and it has to kind of come across cool. You know, I feel like the name Annie and Jade, it's a very cool name, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's accessible. I think we might know somebody named Annie, and we might know somebody named Jade. So there's something very very personal,
both.
but right, or both, right? And so there's something very personal about that. So I go on name first, and if I like the name, then I look at the collection. And I think about the collection in terms of its friendliness to stylists, to editors, and now to bloggers, because it has to be quite that friendly, and it has to be able to, I think, be diverse within its placements. This is Nadine Ellis from Let's Stay Together, wearing Annie's
Great.
right, her organic wool dress here on the left, and then
Wow.
her sleeveless silk cardigan on the right.
So pretty.
Really gorgeous, right? Oh, love that. That's Alexa Vega wearing the organic cotton moto jacket. That jacket is amazing, by the way.
I'm just like, you're killing me right now.
Yeah.
Shop.
You know, which is fantastic. And and that's Victoria Platt. You know, she's in that new television show, Star-Crossed. Yes, amazing new CW show. It's great. And she's one of the actors. I think she's like their professor or their teacher in the show. And she's in a lot of the episodes too, because we looked it up.
Oh,
So
lovely.
you know, some people's like, oh, I'm in this show, and it's like an episode.
like an episode,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
But that's Annie and Jade's cross backless dress.
So how do you find some of these brands you're working with? Do they find you, or do you find them?
It's really more us sourcing them out, but we will get occasional requests, word of mouth. So I would probably say 70% of us sourcing out, 30% people have found us or they've heard about us from someplace else. But you know, I am always online late at night, seeing what's going on, just resourcing, and then we go to the Magic Trade Show in Las Vegas, and we just walk the show. We just walk the show to see if there's something that we like and that we're interested in.
How important is for brands social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? Is that just as important as magazines, celebrities? I mean, how does that fit in with your whole philosophy on PR?
Yeah, it's really, really important. I'll tell you what Annie and Jade's showroom just told her. This is the T. Smith and Company showroom. Amazing showroom. Tammy Smith, she's wonderful. Hey, Tammy. But she told Annie that if Nordstrom's is looking at your brand, they want you to have at least 1,000 followers on all of your social media.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
At least, I think.
That's minimum.
To even be considered. But you know what's really interesting about that is I do find that social media, as we know, is extremely, extremely important. But I think at the end of the day, you know, I think your sellability, people expect you to have your own value if they buy into you.
Yeah.
Because you do kind of have to work for them.
Yeah.
You know, you bring your fan base to them. And ultimately, that's what it is, where people really worked in the past, you know, to help to create the brand, to create the visibility, to create the buzz. It's not like that. It's all on you now. Yeah, exactly. So
True.
with that said, it is very, very important.
Social media has kind of become like your resume. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's everything. And if you don't have numbers, and people don't even want to talk to
Yeah.
you. It's,
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to quantify just like in 3 major points, like when you're looking for a line or looking for people you want to work with, what are like 3 main things that you want to see happening with the line, or that they're doing right, that you think that
They're
that
gonna be
relationship will
amazing.
work, that you can push them to the next level?
I think outside of course, us sourcing the brand or looking at it based on the name, I'll say that, but that won't be like one of my top 3. But it's the first thing for me to even get to the top 3, you know? But I think one of the things is the quality of the collection, and that it is a collection. I mean, and I do understand that, you know, I come from a background where, you know, merchandising and editing is what we do as stylists. And so you look at a collection, and when actually merchandising a collection, you realize that for a lot of designers, they're artists. So sometimes they're designing things that they love that don't belong at the time, and that might be better for something in the future. So as long as it's a collection that can be edited and that is merchandisable, I think that's really important, and that the designer has that skill set like season after season, and that they understand about timelines. you know, like literally, like really understand about timelines, and that they understand about, you know, this is not just an overnight thing. Like you have to be in it for the long haul. You know, like if a designer doesn't really have 3 collections, I don't even really look at them. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So where does that new designer, you know, who doesn't have 3 collections, who's new on the scene, like, who picks them up? Who scoops them up?
Well, when you have 3 collections, you
say
are
you
still a
get
new
scooped up.
designer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you do your own PR. You do it all yourself. I mean, I know from having a line, you do
Right.
it.
Well, you
do
know,
it yourself.
well, you know, a lot of times I tell people a lot of times who come to me and they say things, we're like, oh yeah, well, we're looking for a publicist, and I talk to them and I'm like, you know, you're really not ready for a publicist. You know, you need to work on building the brand first, building the visual aspect of the brand, making sure that the collection is really tight, making sure that your marketing collaterals are amazing, and then you can talk about, you know, doing PR, because if those things aren't in place, no PR can be done.
Makes sense.
Okay, I think it's time for one of our favorite segments.
I know.
Hot or hot mess. We'll quickly get through these.
Roll through that
Let's
real
roll
quick
through.
this week. Okay, obviously lots of things have been going on this past weekend and into this week. Of course, Coachella wrapped itself up, second weekend. We have Solange back on our little screen here, rocking a different outfit this time around. She is at Coachella wearing this printed suit. She's in the printed suit trend that we got going on. It's a Kate Spade Saturday Pebble print trapeze top and a side slit mini skirt and gold lock crossbody purse, which is huge right now, in a pale mauve. And she's also wearing yellow rim cat eye sunglasses along with yellow and silver open-toed loafers. Do we love it? Do we hate it?
You go first, but we have to wrap this up quickly.
Really quickly. So I personally love it, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't even follow Coachella fashion because everybody looks the exact same.
Yes.
I can't do denim cutoffs. I can't do, you know, floral crowns on the head. So to see something like this, I think it's refreshing and it's cool, and I like it. And she looks absolutely summer chic to me.
I think it's so cute. I love it. I think it's adorable. I love how she styled everything from the sunglasses to the shoes. I think it's so cute. I love it.
I adore it. I hate the shoes, but that's just because they're loafers and they're open toe, and that's weird to me. But I love the outfit, love the hair, love the glasses. Think it's great.
I'm with you. I love everything but the shoes. Yeah, an open-toed loafer, it's just
weird to me.
It's hard
and
for
I
me to wrap
kept
my brain
looking
around
to
it.
be like, are those open toe? Are those open toe? And then I finally found someone. It's open toe. Yep. All right. Next up, we have the Kardashian ladies wandering around. The wedding is around the corner, guys, for Kim and Kanye. And this time, Kim has casualed it down a little bit because she's been wearing some interesting dresses so far. Right now, she's wearing this major thigh-bearing distressed pair of light blue denim jeans with a regular white shirt and a soft pink blazer and soft pink pumps. And we have her sister Courtney rocking a white blouse and a nice black leather pencil skirt with laser cutout detail at the hemline and black and white ankle strap pumps. Are they hot or are they not?
ooh, can't. I like boyfriend jeans and I like the ripped torn look, but this is just a bit much.
Too much thigh for you?
I don't like
You're
it.
not feeling the
I'm
thigh?
not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I agree. I like, and you know, look, I like the Kardashians.
Yes.
And I like me some Kim Ye. I'll tell you that right now. And those jeans are just a lot. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Courtney looks great though.
Yeah, Courtney looks great.
I think she looks fantastic, and Kim would be great too. I just think that she needed to put on a different pair of jeans.
It's too much.
I totally agree. Not a fan of the jeans at all on Kim. I love what Courtney's wearing. I'm a big fan of Courtney's style. I love how she dresses. She always looks really put together and cute and kind of like a mother too. She's not. Sometimes I feel like Kim's always trying so hard, whereas Courtney still looks beautiful and like fresh, and she's not trying to and accessible. And I love Courtney's style, and I love it here. So
I'm going to deviate from the team, and I'm going to give Kim a hot, and this is why. Because we've been seeing her running around in all these little fitted dresses and trying to show all the boobs and showing all the hips, and I'm glad to see her thighs, gosh darn it. I'm happy for her. I'm okay with it. I'm excited about it. We're going to wrap it up with one last picture. For Style Watch this week, we had @HelpsyHeart on Instagram, you guys. I had to put it up there. The What Would Beyonce Do t-shirt is my favorite, and they are a non-disposable, well-made, eco-conscious materials, fair trade company right here in LA. Grab some t-shirts online at HelpsyHeart or shophelpsy.com.
We want to thank our guest, Jeffrey Relf, for joining us this week. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank
We
you for
will
having
see you
me.
guys next Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jeffrey, where can we find you on Twitter?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at The Style Doctor, DR at THE Style DR Doctor. And you can find us on Instagram at TFOPR and find us on Facebook also at TFOPR/The Fashion Office.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.